Yay, yay. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? Welcome to a special edition of Coffee Talk, my birthday version of Coffee Talk. Uh, get y'all's asses up. We're doing a Alphabets football show type setup, but this is Coffee Talk, and I got my lovely co-host with me. Uh, and we're going to be talking draft this morning. All right, so get up, get you some
I'll be
coffee,
on
some
in
orange
just
juice, some water.
a sec.
All right, you're frozen right now, so I'm hoping that I don't know what's going on over there, but get y'all's asses up. We're gonna talk draft today. My lovely co-host, she was at the draft, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna do grades because I don't think we're gonna do a show on Friday, so we're gonna do it now while I have her here, and let's do this. So get up in
Yeah,
here.
give me a second.
Okay.
For some reason, I can't get my
Are we on?
YouTube.
Are we on YouTube? Are we on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. Let me and send me the link and I'll put it up in
Well,
here.
I'm
Oh,
trying to, but
oh
for
okay,
some reason,
okay,
it's
okay.
not wanting to let me do nothing. What is wrong with this thing? Let's see.
Um,
Facebook.
happy Monday morning to you all. Thank you already
Change,
for all of the.
did you change the background of our Facebook group?
Yes, just I
What'd
had it
you
on a draft. It's the coffee talk logo. I changed it like yesterday. I change them. I change it
on the
every
Alphabet
day.
Football Show?
Yes,
Why? That
I just
doesn't make sense.
well, I put it on the I because we were going to do this show this morning. I had the 2026 draft banner up there for this weekend. I change it
It's
every now
not
and then.
letting me do anything. It's not letting me do anything on our page. I don't
Oh,
understand groups.
if you look on it, it's probably going to have the coffee talk logo. But again, it had the draft logo on there this weekend. I changed the cover. Let me see. Do
Well,
I
we
see
need to
it?
change it back to our Alphabet's football group since that's what it
Let me see
is.
here. Let me see
I got it.
here.
I got it
You got
now.
it?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna tag some people.
Um, So get y'all's asses up. We are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
Let everybody work their way into here. Mona, if you could tag me, I will put that on my wall.
I'm trying to tag everybody so I don't have
Okay,
to
I got you.
get
I got you. I
everybody in.
got you. I got you. Let me see here. I don't see us on here in the group.
I haven't got you tagged yet. I'm still tagging people.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. We're doing this a little bit differently because we're doing kind of a makeup show and we're doing our show for Friday. We're going to do it now and discuss some things. Normally, y'all know I do the coffee talks, but I have the pleasure of having my lovely co-host with me. Shout out to my lovely co-host and the chocolate girl Sharon Mullins. Shout out to Ethan Tweedy. And who was the lady who was
Uh, Miss
with
Betty.
Sharon?
Miss Betty.
Miss Betty. I
Her
saw
sister too, but I didn't get to meet her
and
sister.
okay, and Sharon, your sister. I hope that uh, I saw the pictures and stuff. I had an absolute blast looking at the pictures and videos y'all posted. You with the Rooney, was that Art?
Yep, our Rooney
What is
Senior.
it? Art Rooney Senior.
Yep.
One of the one of the cornerstone franchises in the NFL, one of the cornerstone owners in ownership groups in the NFL. Just a class act. I love the statue. And look, the NFL has been prioritized in the past few years with giving different cities the draft, which I like because back in the day, when we were coming up, it was just at Radio City Music Hall, and they'd be back in the green room. Now you have, getting giving all of the fan bases an opportunity to experience the draft. I like that. Uh, I also like the fact that they're promising these teams that build new stadiums or whatnot, and trying to build up their infrastructure to that they will be awarded Super Bowls. So I like that it's moving around now. Back in the day, certain events were just at the same city every year. Pro Bowl used to be in Honolulu. Draft used to be in New York City. So now we got, it's moving around Super Bowls and the draft. So uh, Mona, what's
Yeah.
goody? I don't normally, y'all know Mona. I don't need to introduce her. I call her Miss Bruce Willis because she's diehard. Mona, what's up?
I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. I am so tired.
Okay.
I got back yesterday and I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
Was it so? I know
Like,
for a fact.
going
I
on
know for
here.
a fact that you've been to a Super Bowl. Was this your first draft that you ever went to?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're not two bucket list things out of there. You've done the draft and you've done the Super Bowl. So I mean, you're as far as NFL, you're cooking over there. Most people don't get.
I found a great hotel to stay at while I was up there. And figured out it's like 5.5 hours, although I think I got back in about 4 hours back from up there. Um, so I will
Okay.
be going back. Hey, Dalton, good to see you.
Okay. Well, definitely.
Yeah, we're on
Do
YouTube.
me a favor, everybody. Make sure that you like and share the show, everybody. We're about to get started up in here. I don't want to go too long because we're kind of on a time limit here with this, especially this being a Monday morning. So get up in here if you. We got to get started, but get up in here. We're going to discuss mainly the draft. We're going to give our grades and our thoughts on some of the stuff that went down there and go from there. So without further ado,
We shall
let's do this thing. Let's do
get
this
started.
thing.
Here we go.
Like the
Okay.
here it go. Okay, so Mona, I mean, you could speak to this. A lot of this, I'm going to defer to Mona because she was actually feet on the ground. Her and Sharon and Ethan Tweedy. Look, this was a record-breaking deal. And the NFL wants it like this. They want to. They are trying to expand it with the overseas games and moving some of these events around the different cities or whatnot. So Pittsburgh, from what I hear, Mona, you could attest to this a little bit more. Mona, you were there with the. I'm sorry, with the physically there. Your thoughts on it? The crowd, the vibe there. What did you get from that? Just tell us a
Uh,
little bit about what you saw.
it was packed. It was absolutely packed. Like sardines. I'm serious. I mean, it was. I didn't really know exactly where every venue was to go. Um, they had little pamphlets that they were handing out and stuff, but it took us forever to get inside the actual stadium. But we did finally make it in there. Um, but see, not only did they break the total record, setting a record for all 3 days, but they broke a record with day one of the draft with about 320,000 people. And listen, that's not including the staff. That's not including the stars that came out. Uh, the news people. Uh, that's not including any of them people. So
Yeah.
there was a lot more than just 320,000 people there. Trust me when I tell you. Not only that, but they were very lax. They never scanned my barcode, not once, nowhere. The only thing they did have us do, there was like a little metal detector, and they wanted everybody, but it was also a counter, is what I found out. That it was
Okay.
it was counting people, and not
Okay.
everybody went between them two poles at Tony Dorsett entry. Not everybody went between them poles. A lot of people. I mean, it was so crowded and so many people trying to get in that people were walking by that. So they didn't get counted because the little two poles they had was supposedly a metal detector because my cane set it off, and then also it was counting people.
Okay.
So because when my cane set it off, I asked him, I said, well, do you need to look at this or anything? And he looked at me and goes, nah, go on. Not one time did I have to bring that barcode up from NFL 1 to get into any event or any of the music, nothing. I mean, and that was the big to do, was that people had to do that. Well, not everybody had that little barcode. I can assure you of that. And not everybody got counted either because they were not all going through. I know when I went through and I set the little thing off, there was probably 20 people who went past me on the other side of that pole, and he just motioned for them to go on. Okay. So, like I said, that 320,000 people, I think there were more than that on day one.
Okay. Look, obviously, I was watching on TV. It just looked like a outstanding environment, very exciting, and I'm glad to,
the picture right there showing all them people.
Yeah,
that was just right at the front of the stage. There were 1,000+ people standing behind that.
Yeah, I think that, and I think that this shows the popularity of NFL football. Look, this is again, I tell you, we do a football show. This is no shot to any of the other sports, but football in America is king. It's just what it is. When you look at the franchises and things and whatnot like that. So I think it's just going to continue with the popularity here. Baseball is, what do they say, America's pastime, but football is America's passion. So outstanding numbers there. What do we got next?
Okay, here we go. We got the 2026 NFL Draft first round selections, each player that got drafted for the first round. And then we got our first round draft grades, according to Rob Rang with Fox Sports. So some of them I agree with, some I don't really agree with.
So look, we're just going to cover today. We're just going to cover the first round real quick, and then we'll give our overall grade. We're not going to go through all 7 rounds because we would be here all day. But looking strictly at the first round, I don't think any with Fernando Mendoza, we knew that right from the jump street. We knew that Fernando Mendoza. We knew the Raiders were hell bent on getting him.
I did not do well with that.
There was.
I did not do well.
I got. Well, just like every year, look, this is not an exact science, and it speaks to how good Bo did last year and Jordan. They both got 8 right last year. I got 3, because the thing about it is, it's like if you miss one, it's like a chain reaction. It's the dominoes fall, and you just kind of, I got
that Jeremiah Love pick by the Cardinals. Really,
it threw everybody off. I got the first 2 right, and I got
the one thing about the Jeremiah Love pick tells me that James Conner's dead.
Yeah, and definitely. And the thing about it is, the most frustrating thing about that is they just went and got Tyler Algier from the Falcons. Poor Tyler Algier. I feel sorry for this guy. His rookie year, he had 1,000 yards rushing, and then the very next year, they draft Bijan Robinson. Okay, you're not going to start over Bijan Robinson. And then you're like, okay, I finally hit free agency. I'm going to go to the Cardinals, and I get to the Cardinals, and they draft a running back at pick 3. And this is what I tell you: when they draft a guy that high that plays a position as you, they're telling you what they think about you. They're telling you.
Okay.
You're not.
I'm going to interrupt you again. A big happy birthday to the Alpha. Now, the last time we had a show, you sang happy birthday to me. I'm going to do my best Marilyn Monroe happy birthday. Well, I'm not. I can't do that. There's just no way. But I will sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marcus. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
Mama, I'm almost
Did I hear? Thank you so much.
Yep, that's
Curly Top. I heard you, Curly Top. I heard you back there. Don't think I didn't hear you. I heard you. I heard you, Curly Top. I appreciate it. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate it so much. Everybody who sent stuff.
Hold on. Cora's got something to sing to you. Come on. Hey.
Happy birthday to you. I love you here. I love you every morning. Happy birthday to you.
Oh
man. See, yeah, I don't know if y'all have ever seen a black man blush, but there it is right there. For me to blush. I appreciate it, Curly Top. I appreciate it. But yeah, Jeremiah the Jeremiah.
Wait, a black man blush? Getting here.
You made a black man blush. Yeah, you made if you could make me blush, you really did your thing. I appreciate it, everybody. Look, that there, the Jeremiah Love pick, it just kind of
it threw
everything off. It threw everything off. It just did. And look, I'm a big fan of the running back. I just thought that Tyler Allgeier's a good back. And then you just drafted a back like in the second round last year, a couple of years ago, Trey Benson. And look, there's levels to this, and they're saying this guy's the next Bijan. He's this year's Genty, but I just thought you hit other needs. I just thought you did. So we'll see what happens. Carnell Tate first, the first wide receiver off the board. Arvell Reese,
we might not want to talk about wide receivers on this show today because I have some. Well, we got a slide.
We'll get there. We'll get there. The Chiefs, they move up and they get Monster Delane. They moved from 9 to 6 and got Monster Delane. A lot of people had him as the number one corner in there. That's your McDuffie replacement.
Yep.
They lost both of their starters. Sonny Styles, Dan Quinn, he gets his Bobby Wagner replacement. Jordan Tyson, Chris Olave, he's been somewhat injured. Can't stay in the field, has concussion issues. They got him a running mate there. There were some people that thought that Tyson maybe was the best wide receiver in this draft. Some people thought Tate was the best. Some people thought Lemon was the best.
You had Jordan Tyson. You thought he was one of your pet cats.
Yeah, but I like Lemon too. All of them were really good. I didn't think any of them were a Jamar Chase type, a top 5 pick type. But I liked all 3 of them. The Browns, they continue building that offensive line. Trying to put the Browns. We'll talk about here, giving our overall grades. The Browns have done very well building that team from the trenches. Last year, in the first round, they got Mason Graham on the defensive side. They're building that offensive line. Giant.
This is one of the best. I think that was one of the best drafts that Cleveland has done within probably the last 20, 25 years.
What, this year or last year?
This year. I think last year was okay, but I think this year they really kind of stood out.
Well, last year they got 5 starters out of last year's draft.
Look, I gave them an A+
Yeah,
in this
they're
draft.
they're doing their thing over there. Getting rid of Stefanski. Again, they're five. You normally get one or two starters out of a draft.
Take a note from them getting rid of Stefanski. I
No,
truly
no.
believe Cincy needs to do the same thing that Baltimore did, that the Cleveland Browns did. They need to do the same thing. Taylor needs to go.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. They've had bad luck there, especially defensively. Giants, they get some offensive line help to help out with Jackson Dart. I was surprised here. I thought maybe they would go. With another defender here. Cowboys, they move up and they switch with the Dolphins. They give up 2 5th-round picks to move up one spot. They get who a lot of people felt what was the best player in this draft, wherever your rankings were as far as that. He's a nickel. He's a safety. He's got range. He's got linebacker type skills. I love this pick, Caleb Downs. A lot of people had him as a top 3 talent in this draft. Dolphins, they go and they get a bruiser. Mona, you know about this guy, Alabama. I mean, this guy's massive, 6'6", 366. They're trying to rebuild that line over there. This was another curve right here. And we'll talk about the grades here in a little bit. I just thought, this is my opinion, Mona, you can give yours. You could have, you were on the cusp. You were on the very cusp of going to the Super Bowl, the Rams. I mean, that game between you and Seattle, the eventual winner, could have went either way. You're getting a guy who's not going to play at least this year,
right?
And maybe not next year. Stafford's 38. Let's say Stafford plays 2 more years, this year and next year. Now, this is a look down the road, but I mean, you're in win mode right now. Why not get a lemon here? You put him and Puka, who you're going to have to pay here in a minute after the JSN extension. Devontae Adams is getting a little bit older. Go get another weapon. Now, we saw a situation like this a few years back, Mona. We remember this, and we questioned this move too. When the Packers took Jordan Love when they could have got Justin Jefferson. And this is with Aaron Rodgers in the prime of his powers. You got
you guys got to quit talking about women, man. Y'all just got to stop right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you, my ire is. Oof.
Yeah, I'm just Rams. Look, I get it. You're looking towards the future, but it's like you should be in win now mode. So that kind of threw me off.
I just don't think Ty Simpson's going to be the replacement for Stafford. Sorry, I just don't.
Who would have been a better player this year? Lemon or Bain? You put Bain on that defensive. You put Bain on that defensive line with Verse. You go get Lemon. You go get. You got so many other players that you could have gotten.
Puka's future in question with the Rams. Oh, I should say in the NFL. With his future in question. Go get somebody in case something happens and he does something stupid this year. You had that guy to plug in. That was my.
And Devontae Adams is like 32, 33 years old. He doesn't have that much left. This is the opportunity to get that. The Ravens, they continue. This is your Falele replacement here, Ione. Falele was one of the worst tackles in the. Y'all hear me talk about Jawan Taylor. Falele is terrible. Mona, you see this guy. I think he's with the Giants now. Falele was terrible. This is his replacement. Ruben Bain, look. I think he kind of failed. We talked about it a little bit. The 30-inch arms on the defensive tackle. They don't like that. I tell you that. These measurements at the combine, they don't like that. And as productive as he was, an All-American, they don't like that arm size. Sadiq, the Rams, the Jets. We talked about the Jets. look, I criticize the Jets a lot, Mona.
Like you do.
I
I think we all do.
I rip the Browns a lot. The Jets are starting to get it a little bit. This guy was the best tight end in this draft. They go get Bailey at 2. They come right back here and get the best tight end in the draft. This is a safety blanket. We talk about, tight ends being that safety blanket, and we've seen
And
some of the
a lot of teams are going to a 2 and 3 tight end set.
Yes, and look, it's an easy way to get the ball to a playmaker. This guy, he ran like a 4.3. I think he broke the combine record or tied it or came close to it with Vernon Davis. This guy's nearly 250 pounds running a 4.3. Incredible pickup for them. They need weapons over there with Garrett Wilson can't ever stay healthy. And we've seen some of the success of these tight ends the past couple of years. The Trey McBrides, the Brock Bowers last year, the Warrens from Indianapolis. Look, when you got a good tight end and Loveland from the Bears, you're starting to see these tight ends really taking off. Look, the Lions have been decimated on their offensive line. They had a couple of retirements. They replaced them with Blake Miller. Vikings, they need offensive line help. I think that's kind of why Sam Darnold took off. That offensive line was pretty bad.
Yeah, because I think Darnold knew that they weren't going to do anything as far as revamping the offensive line the following season. And so in Seattle, I don't blame him. I would have left Minnesota. I mean, he got the crap beat out of him in the playoffs.
He did. And Christian Darrisaw just couldn't stay healthy. I'm gonna tell y'all again, the Panthers starting to put it together over there. You're starting to kind of see them. They picked up Bryce Young's 5th-year option. They're trying to protect him. They got a running game over there. They finally found their number 1 receiver last year with Ted McMillan. Protect Bryce Young and allow him to throw the ball down the field.
They had a great 2-headed monster in that backfield, and they let Rico Dowdle go. But that's okay because Pittsburgh kind of gained on that, in my opinion.
No, I love Rico Dowdle, the former Cowboy. Love him, great power runner. Mona, I know this here. I know this. Not the pick of the scab or nothing. We got to talk about it. Look, I'm just going to be. I said this at the beginning of the show. I'm not helping the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles, look, the Cowboys and Eagles, they've done business before. They got Devontae Smith. We did a switch in 2021, I think it was 2021, where we moved from.
Is a defensive tackle, Dalton.
Yeah, they needed help over there. I think I mocked to them Adam Thieneman from Oregon, the safety. But I'm not trading with the Eagles. I'm just not. Look, we got 2 4th-round picks out of it that we were able to get some other things with. We didn't have a lot of picks because we've been trading, the George Pickens trade, the Quentin Williams trade. So we didn't have a 2nd-round pick. And didn't have a 3rd-round pick until recently with the Oso Digizua trade.
Yeah, he was talking about Blake Miller being offensive line or offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They were side by side, so.
Yeah. But look.
I like that Monroe Freeling pickup, though. I really thought that was basically them trying to do more to help keep Bryce Young.
Got to keep him upright. I mean, you
should take some notes on this.
No doubt, you protect your quarterback. Your Steelers
right now. The Eagles. We were on the phone. They were on the phone with Lemon because there was no way Dallas was taking a receiver. But this was a big FU to Mike McCarthy by Jerry Jones. FU, I'm going to trade picks with the Eagles.
Yeah.
So you can't get that receiver. That's exactly why he did that. I'm telling you. But we got a slide for that, and we'll discuss a little more then. Iron Acre pick I like the pick. Don't get me wrong. I wanted Proctor.
Mhm.
But
But he was
again,
gone.
there were a couple of downsides to him. Not very long arms. A beast. I mean, he's a beast. You're not going to get through it. You ain't going to push him back.
Mhm.
But I don't know if he would ever have. Because at first I was thinking replacement for Broderick Jones that can't get back healthy after having the fusion done to his neck.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's going to come back. And I think if you put Max at offensive guard, if Broderick Jones is 100% healthy, or maybe switch the two. But Broderick Jones has got to show us something this year, period. He just has to.
Well, I think this is it. I think this is his. This is his insurance policy here. This is in case he's not. This kid, when you draft some offensive lineman in the first round, I expect you to be a starter somewhere in my offensive line. So I think this is a insurance policy for him. Chargers, typical Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. We're going to build those lines: offensive line, defensive line. Rashawn Slater. And the kid from Notre Dame.
I still feel like
that's what they do.
To me, Chargers should reinforce that offensive line to protect their damn quarterback. That Justin Herbert needs some better protection. He takes way too many hits in a season, and I thought they should have went with the offense first. Don't get me wrong, Mesidor.
Well, the past few years they've gone. Look, Zion Johnson, first round pick. God, I can't think of the kid from Notre Dame. The tackle from, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. And then Rashawn Slater, he was the highest paid tackle. They drafted 3 offensive linemen in the first round. Eventually, you can't put all of your resources into just one spot. But look, they got a guy here now. He's an older prospect, Mesidor. He's 25 years old. But look, what's that?
Were you talking about Travis Burke?
The tackle that they took a couple of years. No, the offensive tackle they took a couple of years ago instead of Neighbors from Notre Dame. I can't think of his name. I cannot think of his name. He got a really simple name. I can't think of his name. But they took him in the top 5. They took him in the top 5 like a year or two ago, or was it last year?
Joe Alt.
Was it last? Joe Alt. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you spent the first round pick on him. You spent the first round pick on Zion Johnson. You spent the first round pick on Rashawn Slater. You're getting to be like the Cowboys every year. You can't just draft an offensive lineman every year. You got to go on both sides of the ball. I didn't really like this pick here.
I have a problem with Bo. How can you not have a problem with that trading up with the Eagles when they pick up a receiver that you're going to have to face? You can't think short term. I know you got 2 fours for it, but here's the deal. You're going to have to face Lemon for the next 10, 12 years, and maybe longer.
If he's what I think he's going to be, long term. Look, I'm not trading with the Eagles. I'm sorry. There's just some people I ain't trading with. I just ain't. Now you get this guy here.
Pittsburgh is not going to trade up or let the Ravens, the Browns, or the Bengals trade up to get a pick. That know that we are going to have to face them twice a year.
Yeah, that's just me. That's just me. I'm not trading with the Eagles. I'm not trading with the Giants. I'm not trading with the Commanders.
I'm petty like that too. I ain't.
They can call me petty all they want. I'm not trying to help you. And this guy, what if this guy ends up being an All-Pro? What if he is?
I like the Cowboys pick. I like y'all's first pick, the Malachi Lawrence pick. Our
second pick.
Y'all pretty much set on offense.
Yeah.
But defense, really need to step it up. I didn't know if you were going to go, edge or what have you. I actually thought you might go secondary and get a corner.
Well, that's what they view Caleb Downs at. He played nickel. He's going to be that. For all the people out there, do y'all know what a nickel is? I don't
Well,
know if people know what a nickel.
yeah,
I don't know if people know. I don't know if people know what a nickel is. Okay, we call it a nickel because he's the fifth defensive back. That could be another corner, or that could be another safety. You got two safeties, two corners, three safeties, strong safety, two corners. Okay,
yeah.
four defensive backs. That fifth defensive back is what we call a nickel back, five. Okay, so they view Caleb Downs as that. He has the speed and flexibility to be that nickel. He'll be there. So you may see three safeties on the field at the same time. I knew that they would go edge. I thought maybe they could go linebacker. I thought maybe a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, CJ Allen, linebacker from Georgia. I thought maybe they would go somewhere there. But this kid here, they think very highly of him. He's one of the faster defensive ends. Look, they went out in free agency and got Rashawn Gary, made a trade for Rashawn Gary, edge rusher from Packers, brought him over. You got a guy last year in Donovan Ezaraku, but he's coming off of a hip surgery. So these two guys, Ezaraku and this guy here, they're going to compete with each other. So we'll see what happens there. Browns, they go get a receiver. They needed that. Look, they had Jerry.
That was Kansas City pick.
Yeah. Look.
Why
with the
didn't
Browns? No.
Didn't the Chiefs pick?
Two.
Who did they trade that for him?
Oh yeah, was it? Yes, it was. Yes. They switched spots. Yes, because the Browns were there.
Well, the Browns had the
this was they switched spots. They had number 6, and they traded with.
And they traded. I was thinking they traded.
Yes. No, the Browns had two. The Browns had 2 picks. This is from last year with Jacksonville. With Jacksonville last year. This was the pick from Jacksonville last year when when they traded up for Travis Hunter. This is why Jacksonville didn't have a first round pick. This was the Jacksonville. They go get a receiver. This guy is dynamic. Texas A&M wide receiver. By the way, they had the most draft picks in this draft.
No, they didn't. No, that was
Ohio State, right? It was Ohio State. I'm talking about colleges.
Oh, my college. Yeah.
About the colleges. Yeah. Texas A&M was up there. For most in Texas. Ohio State had the most. This guy's dynamic. He's fast. He's shifty. They needed that. They don't really have a guy like that. Jerry Jeudy is garbage.
I love his name.
Casey Concepcion. So they needed him. They went and got another receiver that I like too, Denzel Washington, and later on. The Bears. Look, the Bears are going to be a problem. I know that people have been laughing about the Bears over the years, but they're building something over there.
How I felt about their quarterback at first.
Yes.
And I changed my opinion of him last year.
Yeah. He's really done his thing there. That's going to be a battle up there in the north.
See, I had CJ above him. I thought CJ was better until last year. And then seeing what CJ done last year. I mean, I have to take into account that, his offensive line wasn't the greatest. His running back squad was injured. But I just
he's just look, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's just
has to prove it this year.
Yeah, and so they go and get him. Speaking of that, they go get him an offensive lineman. That's been part of their problem. As great as their defense is, they've had issues with the offensive line. They tried to address that a little bit here. I like that. Chris Johnson, cornerback. Look, the Dolphins need everything.
Yeah.
they need everything. But they did go get They did go, they started off with, Caden Proctor on the offensive line. Then they go secondary. Look, they could have went a bunch of ways here because they need so much.
And Denzel Boston.
I love Denzel Boston. Just incredible. The kid out of University of Washington. Look, this right here with the Pats taking Lomu. The weak link on that team last year was offensive line. Yep. Will Campbell got his ass handed to him in the Super Bowl, and a lot of last year they spent the top 5 pick on him last year. You
Yeah.
cannot have that where Drake May's getting hit in the mouth. They go get this guy here. They're keep sticking with the offensive line. I like this pick. Chiefs, this is your long-term Chris Johnson replacement. Chris Jones. Chris Jones replacement. Defensive tackle. I really like this guy out of Clemson. He's a game wrecker. Jets, again, they are trying to get weapons. Whoever the quarterback's going to be. Now, this year it's going to be Geno Smith. You go get, you go get Sadiq, the best tight end in the draft. Hands down, best tight end in the draft. Then you go get an Omar Cooper Jr., national champion out of Indiana. I like this guy. Great route runner, great body control.
And they got David Bailey for the edge.
Yeah, they're over there. They had a bunch of next year. Look, this is looking way ahead. If you look at kind of what they're doing is they're putting the pieces together next year in the first round. The New York Jets have 3 first-round picks next year. I promise you, one of those picks will be a high pick at the quarterback position. Keldrick Falk to the Titans. By the way, I like what they did in the draft. They did some things. They're go out and go get a weapon for Cam Ward, last year's number 1 pick. Then you go and get something on the defensive side. And here is your Kenneth Walker III replacement, because Zach Charbonnet tore his ACL, I believe, in the playoffs. And this is where Kenneth Walker III was able to have such a great year and ended up being the Super Bowl MVP. Jadarian Price, who wasn't even the starter.
Wait, when he the offensive player of the year?
No, that was JSN. JSN was the offensive player of the year. Right.
Yeah, you're right.
And Matthew Stafford was the MVP. So Jadarian Price, he wasn't even the starter at Notre Dame. That's Jeremiah Love. This guy here, he's dynamic, though. They had a nice little 1-2 punch there. We're going to see if he could be the guy, because at Notre Dame, it was Jeremiah Love. But this guy here, for him to be, you're a backup running back, and you still get drafted in the first round, I think that says a lot about you. So, look, I don't know who the hell Rob Rang is. Looking over his grades here, I'm not giving the Cardinals a B. I'm just not. I know you got the best running back in the draft. I just thought you had other needs. Raiders getting your franchise quarterback, whatever you may think of them. Jets getting Bailey, I like that. Titans, what they did with their 2 first-round picks. Giants, I like what they did with their 2 first-round picks. Chiefs, I like what they did with their 2 first-round picks. Commanders, look, getting a guy like Arvell Reese, I like that. Saints, getting a Robin to go along with your Batman, Chris Olave. Browns, I actually give the Browns an A. I gave them an A too. I gave them an A. I like what the Giants did. I can't complain with them. I like what my Cowboys did. Dolphins, the Dolphins, they just had so many holes. It would take a lot to impress you. They just had so many holes that they had a fire sale. You got rid of Waddle, you got rid of Hill, you got rid of you got rid of your quarterback.
You got rid of the head coach.
Got rid of your head coach. I mean, they just had a lot there. Rams, I'm giving you a C. I just thought that you could have aced this draft, especially in the first round. If you went and got, I thought you should have went and got Lemon. I just thought you should have got Lemon. That's your Devontae Adams replacement, and then insurance in case Puka Nacua keeps acting like a goofball. Okay. Yep. Ravens, I gave them an A. I like what they did. Look, you're going there and you're getting.
I didn't give them an A. I think the B plus is appropriate.
You like that B? You like that B plus?
I like the B plus. I do.
Okay. The Bucks getting Ruben Bain, who a lot of people had as the best edge rusher in here, to get him at 15. I like that.
I kind of felt like they were picking high at number 15, and there were receivers available, and I still feel like they should have done something to replace Mike.
Oh, Mike Evans. Okay, I could. Okay, I got you. I can respect that. Jets. Look, I gave the Jets an A. I gave the Jets for you to get David Bailey and then get. Look, they had 3 first-round picks. They moved back into the
I
first.
gave the Jets an A as well.
Yeah, getting Bailey, getting Sadiq, and then jumping back into the first round where you have 3 first-round picks this year, and you got 3 next year too, by the way, and you get your number one. Well, you still got Garrett Wilson, but this is a guy here who has number one receiver type skills. Lions,
I don't
I
think
mean
they deserve a B plus.
I don't. Yeah, I mean
give them a
look,
C. I give them a C.
yeah,
I would give
yeah.
them a B plus.
C plus for the Vikings. I don't have a problem with that. Panthers, A. I like what the Panthers did. I'm giving them an A minus. Eagles. Look, I hate the Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan. Y'all know that. I hate the Eagles. That's just part of being a Cowboy fan. But what they did, look, Howie Roseman he may be the best GM in the league. The moves he makes.
I agree with the A. I think that the draft they had, absolutely, I think they deserve an A.
Steelers looking to solidify that offensive line. Look, keep going. Now, look, I would have given you an A if you were able. Look, in Jerry Jones, that was some grimy. That was a grimy move.
Yep,
a grimy ass move to do. God. That was a grimy move to do. Just a move, but they did what they did. Browns, hey, I like what the Browns did. Look, to go out there and get you another offensive lineman. You lost. You lost.
If I was going to put them in the B, it would be B plus. I couldn't just give them a B, but I think A for sure. I feel like they had one of the better drafts in this draft.
Yeah.
They're
Bears,
one of my.
Look, I tell y'all all the time, you can still dislike a team because they're a division rival and still be like, yeah, they did a good job. You got to be able to give credit where credit's due. And look, I like what the Browns are doing over there. I thought they had an outstanding draft last year, and this year, we'll see. The verdict is still out. They still got it. Look, all of this stuff is just on paper. It looks good on paper, then the guy gets out there and he can't play. But I like what they're doing so far. Bears, I like what they're doing. Again, trying to support Caleb Williams and then working on that defense. They had a good defense last year. Texans, solidifying that offensive line. I thought overall, we were just doing first round, but to come back into the second round and get Caden McDonald to put on that defensive line. Woo! Dolphins, again, we talked about that a little bit. To get that pick there, I like that. Get a corner. Patriots.
I didn't give them an A. There's no way. I don't think they deserve an A. But I think you could give them a high B, because they did address a lot of their issues. So, but I don't give them an A.
That's very generous. Patriots at their pick there, I get what you're trying to do. This is an insurance policy for Will Campbell. He's got to play better this year. So I would probably give them a B there over an A. Chiefs, I'm giving them an A.
You gave them a C on this. This guy gave them a C, and I think more B. I think more B. I could even almost say B plus, but maybe not. Just a regular B.
Yeah, just a regular B. Getting Peter Woods at 20. What's that? 29. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's your long.
They also got Montour Delane too, and that was a great pick.
Yeah. Well, look, when you look here, it's grading each one. Like if you look over there at 6, they gave them an A for that. So we're over here at 29, giving them a B plus. I think getting Peter Woods at 29, that's an A. Okay. Yeah. There was a lot of people that felt like he was one of the best defensive tackles in this draft. The Jets, with their third round pick, getting Omar Cooper at the back of moving back into the first round. I think they traded with the Bills here. I think this was the Bills pick. The Bills moved again. Do not trade with people in your division. Don't do it. Just don't. I'm not trading with the Jets and helping you. I'm just not. Y'all need receivers. I'm not helping you get.
By the time the Bills actually traded back a couple of different times, by the time the Bills did that, they only were able to go after best available player, and they really didn't solidify and fill some of the needs that they had from last year, in my opinion. So, you know.
Yeah. And then with your first pick, which was in the second round, you draft TJ Parker over Caden Donald. And Caden McDonald goes to the Texans, who you have to see this year. And we saw what the Texans did to the Bills last year, and you let them get the best nose tackle in this draft. I don't like it. Titans getting Keldrick Falk, I like that for them. Again, they get him with the second to last pick in the draft. And then look, I like the Jadarian Price pick for the Seahawks. This is this year Kenneth Walker III. He's Price is probably going to be the starter because Charbonnet is coming off of a torn ACL. He probably won't be available till probably the middle of the season. So we'll see what happens. So there's all the first round grades there. Look, I say this all the time, and some of y'all like to fight with me. Some of y'all just like to fight with me. Texas is football, okay? For some of y'all who haven't ever been to Texas, high school football in the state of Texas. Now, Jordan Tyson, that's Allen High School. Do you know who else went to Allen High School? By the way, if you get a chance, look at the stadium for Allen, Texas. That's where Kyler Murray played at. Okay, Texas is football. That's no disrespect to your state, but when you look at the football, is like religion in the state of Texas. By the way, JSN's from Texas too. Just putting that out there. Matthew Stafford.
The next one closest to Texas is Georgia with 22.
Yeah, I mean that's 11 more. Texas is football. Oh no, it's Ohio. It's Texas, Linda. Texas is football. Okay.
Yeah.
This out there. I try to tell y'all this all the time, and y'all tell me your little state. Oh, Rhode Island, Hawaii makes every state puts out football players. By the way, if Diego Pavia had been drafted, it would have been New Mexico in there. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Texas is football. Point. That's just what it is. Okay. So
before we go any further, before we go this, let me go back one. All right. I just wanted to get your the three best teams that you think did the best in the draft, your best three teams, and your three worst teams that did the worst in the draft. Are you there?
Okay, three best teams. I'm gonna go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Three best teams. I'm gonna say.
Put it in the group, guys.
Like what the Jets did. Look, I talk a lot of crap about the Jets. The Jets did a really good job. They did a great job.
They're number one on my list, and the reason why is not only did they get some great players in this draft in the first round, they got impactful and high value players.
Yes. You got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
When you put them down, look, I tell y'all all the time, I don't play favorites. I sit up here and I say you could mess up a bologna sandwich. Well, when you do good, I got to give you your flowers, man. I got to give you your flowers. So
I joined late night last night with Dre and a couple other people that were on there, Ron Thomas, and I'm not sure who the other guy was. And I they were talking about the draft picks and who they thought did well. And they were talking about the Jets, and they were talking about the Titans. They were talking about a couple other teams. And I kept typing as fast as I could. The Cowboys, they're number 2 on my list. The Cowboys addressed key positions that they needed filled. And to me, I have the Jets at number 1. I have the Browns at number 2. And I had the Cowboys at number 3. And I think you could even flip-flop Browns Cowboys. Although I really like what the Browns did in this draft. I really thought it was very nice draft for them. But to me, I've heard some people say, oh, Cowboys, that they didn't do that great in this draft. And it was said on the show last night. And I'm like, how did they not do great in this draft? Considering the fact that they addressed every key need in this draft that y'all needed. And it was a very heavy defensive draft.
Where did you have where did you have Caleb Downs? Where did you have him ranked as far as players in this draft?
You know
overall,
what?
Just players.
I would say overall player. I think I had him in the top 10 going in my mock.
But just overall player, most people, and I'll put this up after this show's over, most people had him as a top 3 player in this draft. And to get him at 11,
right?
To get the number 3 overall player, and some people had him higher or lower, but consensus, he was a top 3 player. Play all over the field, play corner, play safety, play dime linebacker. As far as me, I'm with you, Mona. Jets, Browns, and I got another one for y'all that
I think the Giants had a good one. An honorable mention is the Giants.
Giants were up there, but the other team that I like what they did was the Ravens. They finally went and got receivers. I don't trust Rashad Bateman, and I don't view Zay Flowers as a number 1. Okay, they went out and got receivers. Zay Flowers to me is more of what they did, and then along with what they did in edge rushers, they got if you could pull up their draft overall, what the Ravens did, they went and got some players. They went and got Trey Hendrickson in the free agency, and then to go get another edge rusher. And then
Deion Young. They got Deion Young in the first round.
Yeah, I like what the Ravens did. I like what my Cowboys did. Look, it wasn't flashy because it was all.
Oh, no, they got Deion in the second round, didn't they? He was their second round pick. Deion Young was their edge rusher they got in the second round.
Zion Young from Missouri. Zion Young. To get him, that's great. Did they get Cassius Howell too? Who over there? Who overall, just like all of their picks, I
wasn't crazy about the Cassius Howell pick.
To me, the weakness of their defense was edge rush. They got big defensive tackles. They got good secondary.
They got Jacoby Wayne in the 3rd round. Receiver out
big physical receiver, 6'3", 6'4", battle catcher. Rashad Bateman. This year, if you have the dropsies or you're injured for an extended period of time, they drafted another wide receiver too that I thought a lot of too. But they went out and they're like, we're going to get other weapons.
They got Elijah Surratt out of Indiana.
Surratt from out of Indiana, national champion. They went out and they went and got Lamar Jackson some weapons over there. I like that. I like what they did over there. As far as teams that I didn't like what they did, look, I'm not a big fan of the Rams. That Rams move to me, look, I didn't like that.
The Ravens have to do something about getting him weapons that can actually catch the ball because he cannot continue running the ball. He did a little bit less running last year, but he cannot continue running the ball and stay healthy and upright through a whole season if you're going to allow him to or kind of basically you've had to make it be that he had to be a quarterback / running back.
Yeah. You saw him getting beat up last year. Some of those injuries started catching up to him. He had little nagging injuries that kept him out of games. And I think that's why they didn't make the playoffs last year, because they brought in all these quarterbacks. And it's like, you need him to be healthy. He's got to be healthy. And as he gets older, I would like to see him run a little bit less. He can still run, but when you're just, we got quarterback designed runs. He's a dynamic runner. I think he's the best runner in the league. But
got that kid, that Charles River, the cornerback out of Duke, as well. And I thought that was a great pick at 162. Man, that was in round 5, and I did not know he was even still on the board. Yeah. And then they got that guy from Bama, the tight end, Josh Cuevas.
Okay.
And then they were back to back. They got Adam Randall out of Clemson, the running back out of Clemson.
Yeah, they look, they lost. I think they lost. I want to say they lost the speed back. He went to the Chargers, a little speed back. They lost him. And then they also lost Likely. Likely went with Harbaugh to the Giants. So look,
I did not that they made in like the third round, I think.
That's your I don't know why they did it. They decided to keep Andrews over Likely. I didn't understand that move, but
me either. I thought, but I think they got probably more out of Likely than they would have got out of Andrews.
Look, Andrews has had a great career, but right now, today, Likely's better than Andrews. Oh, Marcus, today, look, there comes a time where guys get better. They're a better player at this point, but hey, that's what you decided to do. I did not like the Rams taking Ty Simpson in the first round. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I saw mock drafts, and you probably did too, Mona. I don't know, where I saw Ty Simpson mocked to the Steelers. I thought that would have been a dumbass idea,
Oh, you know what I said about it.
Yeah. So, to me, go get players that can help you today, especially when you're like right there. The Rams very easily could have won the Super Bowl last year if they beat the Seahawks. Look, whoever was that came from the NFC side would have kicked the hell out of the Patriots. I'm sorry, whether it was the Rams or the Seahawks, either one of them was going to beat the Patriots, in my opinion.
Right.
They were just better. So, look, Ohio State. I did a piece about this last week. Where
here is Bo's picks.
Jets,
Cowboys for him. Between the Browns and the Raiders.
Okay, Jets and Cowboys for me. Browns, Raiders. Raiders pulling McCoy out of the 4th might be the best pick if he ends up still playing with his pre-injury self. Yeah. Look, you got Tom Brady. He's in the front office over there. They're starting to put some things together. I also like that they got the running back out of Arkansas, Mike Washington. I liked him. I thought he could have been a 2nd round pick.
He was another one of your pet cats.
He was one of my pet cats, the running back out of Arkansas. And when I saw him run, Ricker messaged me from the combine. He goes, Marcus, this guy here. So I got to go watch some film on this guy. Big, fast, powerful guy. He gets in the secondary. He's out of there. Look, Ohio State. I'm going to say this right now because I want this on wax. The SEC is no longer the preeminent football conference in America. I'm going to repeat it one more time. 1, Ohio State is wide receiver university. Okay. Yep. 5 wide receivers taken in the past 5 years in the first round. The Big Ten is now the preeminent football conference in America. It's no longer the SEC. Nick Saban's not walking back through the door. Kirby Smart with Georgia and them. Look, they're still good. We just had Indiana, a basketball school, win the national championship. Okay. Ohio State, Big Ten. All right. Penn State, Big Ten. Indiana, Big Ten. All right.
Yep.
The Big Ten now is the preeminent. I wouldn't imagine that Michigan would be down for too long. You know, they had that whole thing with Sharon Moore. They won't be down for long. It's the Big Ten now, okay? And then to all my Texas people that love Texas football, the Texas Longhorns are no longer the preeminent college football team in the state of Texas. Here's the numbers, okay? So I just like to show y'all things because sometimes y'all think I just make me pulling stuff out of my butt, but I want y'all to see like certain stuff that Texas A&M now is the preeminent football school in the state of Texas. It's not Texas Tech. It's not the Texas Longhorns. Not TCU. It's not Baylor. It's Texas A&M. Okay.
Yep.
So there you have it. There you have it. I just like to put it out there. Oh no, it's still this school. No, it's not. No, it's not. Here's the numbers to prove it. Okay. So there you have it. Well, okay. Real quick, you know, we talked about this a little bit, but just in summary, look, I like what the Cowboys did. I did give them an A. Caleb Downs, I had him as a top 3 player in this entire draft. His versatility, his speed, his position flexibility, I love it. Getting Malachi Lawrence, I was kind of on the fence about that.
And Jerry Jones, though, he kissed my butt. But I gave you an A as well. Look, what you look for in a draft is addressing all the needs you had from last year and what players you might lose from one season to the next. You guys drafted a player for each position that y'all really were hurting last year. And when you meet those needs and with the caliber, the caliber of players that you received in this draft, I had to give you guys an A. I did. Yep.
Yeah, I love what they did there. And look, a lot of people were in my ear about this. And look, the Micah Parsons trade was finally settled, you know, where all of the picks went to wherever. Okay. Here's what you got. Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark.
Look, and these you guys won that trade.
And look, and I want to put this on wax because I know there'll be somebody, you know, in here. Oh, you don't think Micah Parsons is incredible? I think he's a top 3 edge rusher. In whatever order that you want to put him in, you know, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Micah Parsons, you know, whatever. He's an elite edge rusher. But what you got in return for him? 2 first-round picks plus Kenny Clark, and then you flip those picks to get Quentin Williams, and then these other guys here. And you save money. He's $47 million just by himself. Okay. And all of these guys together over there are $52 million. You got 2 elite tackles, you got an up-and-coming edge rusher, you got a potential maybe outside corner. And you got another edge rusher, LT Overton, who I liked, you know, because with the 2 fourth-round picks, LT Overton from Alabama. You're not going to wear 22 with the Cowboys, by the way. That looks stupid on a defensive tackle. But look, I think the Cowboys won it, you know. And speedy recovery to Micah. He tore his ACL. You know, of course, he's going to be – I think he'll, you know – I don't know how well he does this year, but we know that Micah Parsons, when healthy, what he's capable of. But I would say now, when all of the dust has settled, that the Cowboys won that trade. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree. Bo said the Dolphins landed his pet cat, Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah, I wanted him. I really thought maybe instead of getting Malachi Lawrence with that 23rd pick when they traded back, I saw a scenario where they would get Jacob Rodriguez. So I don't know when I'm on a show and you're calling me. So congratulations to the Cowboys. And look, that's no hate to the Packers. You know, you got a great player, but I like our haul. I like our haul. So
yeah. Okay.
Moni, the Steelers.
besides what happened with what would have been our first pick, because I thought that with Pittman Jr. and DK, I thought that Lemon would have been a great fit. I think I even told somebody that if we went with the wide receiver with our first pick, which is what they were going to do, that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, and the Steelers know it. Aaron Rodgers knows it. They just wanted to play with the freaking media and the fans, because I still think that Aaron Rodgers will sign with Pittsburgh. I may be wrong, and if I am, hey, fine. Give Will Howard his chance. Possibly the quarterback they got in the draft. Okay, whatever. But I feel like Mason Rudolph is gone with the quarterback pick that they made in the draft. I figure they're going to trade Mason off to somebody who needs a quarterback, kind of like they did when they sent him to Tennessee. Because I still feel like Aaron Rodgers is looking at that freaking offense with the tight ends we have, with the two running backs in the backfield that we have. Look, he is looking at that draft. He's looking at the free agency moves, and that's probably one of the better offenses he's played with in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, them, restocking the offensive line with the two offensive line picks that we got. I feel that this is probably one of the better drafts we've had for a while. Not the best, but one of the better. Not rivaling, those 70s drafts, because we hauled in, Hall of Famers like crazy there in the 70s. But I was happy with that. I don't give us a B+, maybe a low B, a high C, maybe a C+. I have to see what these guys do on the field. I love the Jeremy Bernard pick. I would have liked the Mikael Lemons pick better. Again, Cowboys, Eagles, both of y'all can kiss my butt. But anyway, I guess I just had to say the Cowboys came because the Eagles did what they were supposed to do. They did because they wanted rid of A.J. Brown, and that solidifies to me that A.J. Brown will not be in an Eagles uniform this coming season. So
we have a slide for that. I think it's pretty much. I think that's pretty much that. I think they're going to wait till the June 1, post June 1. So it's not on their salary cap this season. So I think they'll wait till June the 1st. And look, the word on the street is that they're going to trade him to the Patriots. That's the word now. But look, we've seen stuff. It ain't over till it's over. We all thought that Max Crosby was going to the Ravens, right?
Yep.
And that didn't pan out. It ain't over. Look, you can have all the best laid plans, but it ain't until that line is signed. It's not official.
I think the trade is going to help the Ravens better than what the Max Crosby, because I think there's some health issues big time with Max Crosby, and
they would have had to give up their 14th pick too.
Right.
And they would have had to give up that. So whoever they drafted at 14, you would not have him right now. So you didn't have to give up any draft capital for Trey Hendrickson. Look, football's a family affair. It's a and we've seen lots of brothers play throughout the NFL, fathers and sons, brothers, cousins. We've had twins, the Pouncey twins, the Barber twins, the McCourty twins, the Watts brothers, the Manning brothers. But it's very rare that you get two brothers on the same team. They might be playing still at the same time, but to be on the same team. So we know that Avion Terrell got drafted by the Falcons. He's going to play with his brother AJ Terrell, and then both of the Fano brothers and they played together at Utah. I love to see stuff like that. We've seen that recently. The Edmonds brothers, the Watts brothers, not JJ and TJ, but Derek and TJ playing together. The Edmonds brothers, the McCourty twins, they played together, I believe, with the Patriots. It's just cool. Like, how cool is that? Like, how cool, a lot of times with brothers, they're not able to play together because of the age difference. If I'm 4 or 5 years older than you, I never got to play with my brother in high school because he's 2 years younger than me. So he wasn't going to play varsity when I was at varsity. So
And
this really
Joey
cool.
and Nick Bosa.
The
Uh,
Bosa boys.
but they never played on the same teams.
Yeah. I'm saying, we've seen lots of brothers, but very rarely have we seen them playing on the same team.
I think the Steelers probably have had the most.
And we talked about it before the show. The Herbig brothers, Nick and Nate Herbig.
Yep.
The Hayward brothers, Cam and Connor Hayward, they were on the Steelers. Yeah, I would probably say if I if I were going to put money on it.
What,
Yeah, that's just really cool. How cool is that? That's got to be pretty damn cool.
And if JJ hadn't been stupid and had went to Pittsburgh like everybody had him going to play with his two brothers on the same team, everybody had JJ coming to Pittsburgh, and instead he went after the money. That's what he done, and he played 1 year, and then he retired. So
the Long brothers, Howie Long's brothers, Howie Long's sons, they played. Okay, now look, I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to piss some people off because I had people in my inbox about this.
I love you too, Bo.
I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to get some hate mail for this, but I've been saying this. I've had people that I'm not going to call you out. Marcus, how come you're hating? Not just that. I was going to say that too. How you conduct yourself matters. Okay? How you conduct yourself matters. When you act like a little asshole, pardon the French, Mom, but I can cuss a little bit. Today's my birthday. When you act like a little asshole, okay? And look, I like the fact that the confidence that you have, but when you lose the Heisman Trophy to Fernando Mendoza, who ended up going number 1 overall, and look, I get it, you felt like you were slighted, but then you tell the Heisman Trophy voters, go F yourself. You tell the Heisman Trophy people, go F themselves. You lie about your height. Look, I watched you your entire career. You're from New Mexico. You played at my alma mater and won a junior college national championship at New Mexico Military Institute. You played 40 miles away from my house in New Mexico State, and then you transferred to Vanderbilt, where you did very well. And had Vanderbilt has been in the basement in the SEC. Okay, I think while he was there, that's the first time Vanderbilt ever beat Alabama. Ever. Okay, so you made your mark. That being said, some of the antics that you've had, talking crazy, and then you add that on top of your physical limitations. You're not 6 feet tall, okay? You're barely 200 pounds. And look, no one is looking for the next Doug Flutie. That's just what it is. When people are getting their quarterbacks, they're looking
the next Bryce Young, because Bryce is
doing what
a lot of people didn't think he was going to do.
That's true. Bryce Young is doing well, but when I'm looking for my franchise quarterback, I'm looking for the next Josh Allen, the next Big Ben Roethlisberger, the next Cam Newton, the next Patrick Mahomes, the next Joe Burrow, the next Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Brian Flores got.
And we could even add Matthew Stafford. Matthew
Stafford, number 1 overall. I'm not looking for a 5'9" quarterback with attitude issues. I'm not looking for the next Bryce Young. I'm not looking for the next Doug Flutie. I'm looking for a guy, the Big Ben Roethlisberger, 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", 240, 250 with a rocket launcher arm. I'm not looking for a little scat quarterback, the Kyler Murray, the Bryce Young, or the Diego Pavias. I'm just not. So you got an opportunity here. He's the first Heisman Trophy finalist not to be drafted since 2014. That says a lot. Coaches talk, GMs talk. And I would guarantee, I would love to be a fly on the wall where these GMs and coaches are talking. They're like, I don't want this guy on my team. We saw last year, guy who they thought had attitude issues, and he's bigger than you, and he got a Hall of Fame daddy, and he got drafted in the 5th round. And his daddy's a Hall of Fame cornerback. Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders. You ain't got no daddy that played in the NFL that was a Hall of Famer. So you got to go the long way. To get where you want to go, you may have to go to the UFL. You may have to go play arena football. You may have to go play in the CFL. But your dream's not over. But somebody in your corner needs to tell you, look, keep that fire. I love that. I love you got this chip on your shoulder. And you want to prove the world, because I'm sure your entire career people have doubted you. But that being said, you got to go the long route now. Now, he got invited to go with the Ravens to their mini camp here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if you make the team. They got Lamar Jackson. But when you go in there, put up good tape, show a good attitude, and do what you got to do. Okay? I'm rooting for you. But this was, look, the NFL will humble you.
And this like would be an idea for him. But we talk about this and how it should be, but then we have players like James Pierce Jr. who gets a little slap on the wrist by the NFL. The guy is basically crashed his vehicle into his girlfriend's car, and
after high speed chase.
Yeah, exactly.
After you violated and by the way, since we're on this, Ron Thomas, I'll be on Monday Night Madness tonight. Stay in your lane, dude. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, dude. I don't just say stuff for clicks or stuff like that. If I do a story or I say something, I've had journalistic credentials. I'm not just gonna say some stuff just talking out of my ass, okay? Maybe they do drop the charges. The only way that they drop those charges are if he completes that pre-trial program. If he doesn't, his ass is a mandatory 5 years. I don't care that they drop the stuff with Rakia Jackson. By the way, I don't condone domestic violence. I'm just saying he still took the police on a high-speed chase and assaulted police officers, dummy. So please, stay in your lane, dude. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. All right? Stay in your lane. We are not the same. We are not the same. If you're going to debate me, you got to come with stats and facts. You didn't even know who Andre Rison was and talking Atlanta Falcons football.
That was a receiver.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. And you didn't know who he was. And you're challenging me on football knowledge. I've been doing this for a while. Okay, I'm a little bit old.
Receiver that played for the Falcons?
Huh?
Rison, wouldn't he have receiver?
Yes, and he didn't know who he was. I'm like, name me five of the greatest Atlanta Falcons receivers. You don't know who Andre Rison is, dude. Like, stop talking. Stop talking. Stay in your lane, okay? But I'll be on tonight to address that. I'll be on tonight to address it. Don't ever get on the show and call me out by name because I will respond, okay?
Yep.
So, Diego Pavia, this is your chance, man. Do the most with it. All right.
And then he go to Baltimore?
No, he got invited.
To the rookie camp, right?
It hasn't happened yet. He's invited. That's what that slide is for. There, he's invited. Okay. Gotcha. Look, Browns again. I gave them an A. They are turning over every stone to try to find their franchise quarterback. I think you got good players around. You got receivers now. Harold Fanning Jr. Your defense, you got Myles Garrett and Mason Graham and all these guys, Denzel Ward. You still gotta find your franchise quarterback. I like the fact of what you're doing. You're bringing in all these and let them battle it out. Shedeur, you're not getting anything. Deshaun Watson, this is your opportunity, probably your last opportunity, because if this doesn't work out, the trade that brought you there will probably go down as one of the worst trades in history.
Yep.
Okay. Well, what they gave up, you basically gave the Houston Texans a brand new team. They say that they're not going to get rid of Dylan Gabriel. Look, I think by training camp, look, knock on wood, I don't wish this on anybody, but every year we see that there's a injury, somebody loses their quarterback, and they're looking for a quarterback to come in. That it just happens every year. I don't think that Dylan Gabriel will be on the team next year. He's just I don't think again, another small quarterback that got an opportunity last year and did not do well with it. And then given this kid from Arkansas, who I really like, he's got some, I'm not saying he's this guy. He's got some Lamar Jackson in him. This guy's got wheels. He's 4.3 speed at the quarterback position. He's in the mix too. So they're not going to keep all four of these guys, I don't believe.
Right.
I think Dylan's probably the odd man out, but he'll probably be at training camp when somebody, just like it happens every single year, somebody gets hurt in training camp and somebody's reaching for a quarterback. They're like, we need a quarterback. So,
right.
Rams, look, I get it. You're trying to look towards the future, but you cannot look to the future at the cost of the present. Okay? I don't think you should do that. I think right now Vegas has them as favorites to win the Super Bowl. Vegas odds. Okay. I thought that if you go get a playmaker for Stafford, I think that puts you over. Going to go get a lemon who went at 20. You drafted Ty Simpson at 13. There were other players. Hell, even if you wanted to go defense, go get Reuben Bain Jr. and put him on that defensive line with Verts and the boys. So that's just what it is. That's what I saw with that. But look, Ty Simpson, Mona, I know you're not a big fan of his, but if he's going to succeed, okay, if he's going to succeed,
one of the better
this is the best path for him because
Yep, I agree.
Yes, if you look, how many more years is Matthew Stafford going to play? This year, next year? I say 2 more at most. If they win the Super Bowl, I can see a scenario where he pulls
if they win a Super Bowl, then he might come back for a second year. Yeah, well, he might come back.
I think. Look, I think there's we don't know what his plans are. You know, look, he was the MVP last year. I could see a scenario where if he were to win the Super Bowl, he ride off into the sunset. I could see that, a John Elway type ending. You know, but
and it also makes first ballot Hall of Famer too if he gets his second Super Bowl.
That too. Ty Simpson, this is a great opportunity for you to learn from one of the best. You sit there with your clipboard and your headset and follow this guy everywhere he goes. This is a great situation. This is a Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers type situation. This is a Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre type situation. If you play this right and play the student, you could be in a very good situation. Yeah. Okay. So this is a great situation. A lot of guys in your position, first round picks, they get thrown to the wolves and they get the crap beat out of them. Steelers, same again, searching for quarterback. Look, this is my personal opinion on this. Y'all see me make pieces on this. I think eventually the Steelers have to take the scab off. They keep doing these 1-year deals, year to year.
They got to rip it off for sure. I don't know about the scab, but definitely
you got to rip it off. Y'all keep delaying and you're just good enough to make the playoffs, to be good, 10-7. And make the playoffs and barely win the division, and then you don't have enough. You're not.
I still feel that the biggest issue we had last year, even against the Texans, is we were so lacking in receiving. Not having a true number 2 out there on the other side of DK hurt this team badly.
I get that, but what I'm saying,
and losing Washington did not help either.
That's true, but overall, you're not one of the elite teams. You're not you're not the Texans. You're not the you
We're
know,
always
these are,
around 2021.
yeah, but you're
Three.
not, yeah, but you're not basement dwellers. So you're right there, and you do just enough to make it, and then you get in the playoffs, and we keep seeing this every year, where they're blown out by this team, or blown the Texans or the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Bills. You do just enough, but you're not good enough for the elite teams. Eventually, you just have to say, you know what, we've got to suck for a year or two and go get our guy, or just put Will Howard out there and look, kid, it's sink or swim.
Well,
But
I mean,
stop-
that's what they did with Big Ben. I mean, the year he started, he was
Yeah.
drafted in 2004,
put him,
and he takes them to the AFC Championship game. Now, granted, he had a great team around him. Tommy Maddox went down. They put him in Baltimore. I was there at that game with my brother and my stepbrother. I was at that game. I was drinking. And when Tommy Maddox went down and they put Ben in, and his first pass was an interception, ran back for a touchdown, I think I ordered 2 beers at that point. Because I thought, well, hell, you know, but look what he did. So I'm not saying that Will Howard would do that, but we don't know what he would do.
No, you gotta this crap every year. Get a guy on a 1 year, the Russell Wilsons, the Aaron Rodgers, the Mitchell Trubisky's.
Fields go.
Yes, it's just you gotta. It's uncomfortable and it sucks. It sucks not making the playoffs. It sucks, you know.
It sucks more. It sucks more. Listen, it sucks more when you make it to the playoffs and you're one and done, year after year after year. I am sick of it. And you know what, Steeler fans, if you're listening to me, I have been a Steeler fan since the almost mid-70s. I have seen huge droughts, okay? I have not been happy with these droughts that we've had under Tomlin. I love Tomlin. I love it. He has no coaching tree. He has no coaching tree whatsoever. And I think that's one of the issues. We cannot find that offensive coordinator. But then when you find an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator and you are successful and you win then the next year they're poached. You know, teams are hiring for head coach positions.
Look at what just happened to the Seahawks this past year.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at what just happened to them. That's just what happens. We saw this with the Patriots back in the day. Every year, you know, the Matt Patricias and the Josh McDaniels and the Romeo Crennels and all of these guys, Bill O'Brien's, all poached. So that's just what it is. You got to get this quarterback position right. And that made me facing a little bit of pain now. But what's more painful, having a couple of bad seasons than being middle of the road where you're picking at 22, 23, 24, where you're not getting that elite blue chip prospect and you're getting some guy, you're just rolling the dice and you're getting the hell beat out of you in the first round of the playoffs. I don't like to, it's not just losing, but how you lose sometimes is bad too. The getting beat up by the Ravens or getting beat up by the Texans where your quarterback is running for his life the entire game, which I called, by the way. I'm like, I don't see a scenario where Aaron Rodgers, he's not the mobility that Aaron Rodgers had. Now, Aaron Rodgers 7-8 years ago, he gets out of a lot. I don't know all of it because they had Josh Allen doing the same thing. But you got to fix this quarterback problem because if not, your problems are just going to persist. So we'll see what happens. Jerry Jones, look, we talked about this a little bit. I think this closes the door on A.J. Brown. Again, we talked about this. I think he'll be a post-June. They're going to wait till post-June. Whoever comes with the best offer. Patriots, don't just assume, because y'all have been talking about it, that it's a done deal. Because if somebody loses a receiver or something like that, or somebody's like, hey, you know, we want this guy. Hey, the Rams say, hey, we want A.J. Brown because we feel like he could get us over the hump. Do not just assume because y'all have been talking about it, maybe have a backdoor deal that it's in the, you know, that it's a done deal, because it ain't. Jerry Jones, don't trade with people within your division, no matter what. That's just me. But hey, and that's it. All right. This is going to be our show. We're not going to do a show on Friday. We'll be popping our head in. Now we're going to go to the look. We did the combine. We finished with the draft. We're gonna go back on hiatus. I'll still be doing coffee talk. If it's something major that comes up, I do coffee talk sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. If Mona is available, I'll talk her into coming on with me every now and then. I think I got a little bit of pull. Not too much, a little bit of pull, a little. And y'all will see her. Y'all will see her up on here. Mona, last words before we get out of here. I got to move around. I got a birthday.
I got a little one getting ready to get home from school, so.
Okay.
I just thank the guys for checking in with us and continuing to show support, and we appreciate it. And as he said, he's going to be doing coffee talks throughout the week, and anything huge, we'll probably try to show together like this.
Yeah, I pop my head up on it. Look, if it's something major, if it's just some, I try to put out the real. Shout out to Dwayne Woodley for what he.
I will say this: if something happens and Vrabel finally gets fired, that's gonna be a show.
Yeah. If it's just some little rinky-dink stuff, a kicker got traded, I'm not doing the show for that. But if it's something pertinent, big time news, stories that make a difference. Diego Pavia gets signed to a roster, I'll probably come on and I'll address that. So we'll see if there's any other major. We still got trades going on. You can still make these trades and stuff. You may see somebody, post draft, UDF, undrafted free agents.
Also, if you haven't got a chance, I posted a whole bunch of pictures from day one draft from Pittsburgh. A couple of videos. I did a shout out to Sharon and Ethan Tweedy, the chocolate girl. She's my sister from another mister. It was good. Ethan and I didn't go back down to the draft because we were so miserable by the time we were able to get back to our hotels on that first night. That was the only issue I really had was that. And they've never had that
transportation.
You look at people who are at that draft. Yeah,
biggest draft in history. Biggest draft in history. So
the busing wasn't the best, getting us back to our parking rides and what have you. That was plumb miserable. I was so dead by the time I actually left Acrisure, and I told Sharon and Ethan and his roommate, I can't think of what his name is. But I even told them, I said, look, I'm going to go ahead and walk down the ramp from up where we were at because I knew it was going to take me a while. And my left foot was giving me issues from all the walking. So I went ahead and walked, almost fell a couple of times. One guy grabbed me and kept me from falling because otherwise I would have fell right on my butt or face first one. But anyway, I got down to the bottom, and I just knew and I told Ethan, I said, don't feel beholden that you have to, stick with me. He said, oh, no. He said, we were both pretty upset that it took us 2.5 hours to finally get on a bus to even take us back out to where our hotels were. Sharon was a little bit closer than both of us, I believe. I was at the very last drop on the bus going west. Ethan was like one stop before me. So, it was almost 2:00, 11:45 or something. I walked into the room and I just collapsed on the bed. But I was hurting so bad. I don't take long showers. Usually I get in there and I'm in and out. I took a 45-minute shower that night.
Water jet. You got them water jets.
I had them water jets on that shower going on my back, my low back, and my left hip was killing me. And the next morning, I went to get up out of the bed, and I couldn't straighten up. That's how much walking I did. I could not straighten completely up. It took me probably 20 minutes and about 4 ibuprofen.
Yeah,
just to be able to move the next morning. And I thought, nope, I messed with Ethan and Sharon. I said, look, I'm not going back downtown to the draft. I'm going to find me a little bar and grill somewhere found Twin Peaks. I'd never heard of it. It was a great place to go. They had TVs everywhere. I mean, I bet there was probably 50 TVs in that place. And I'm talking big screen too, you know. It was great. I had a great time with Ethan, and he helped me. Look, I don't know if I can even show it. I took my little notebook, if it'll even show, and I have got every draft pick. Well, there's like 7 pages front and back.
Yeah, I mean it's look,
every draft except for the first round, and I couldn't even do it at the first round because I was there live and the noise was so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so loud that even though this huge Megatron TV screen was showing all the picks, you couldn't hear who it was. You were lucky if you could actually see it because we were so close. If we'd been further away, it would have been easier to see the name going across the screen, you know.
Yeah.
But there was no way I took it with me, but there was no way I was taking no notes because it was just
It's again, I tell y'all, football is year round. There's not actual football being played, but I mean, look, it's just a constant cycle.
Yeah.
Combine, draft, mini camp, rookie
Christmas.
draft. Yeah, it just is.
I got to experience it in person.
Yeah.
For the first time and last time. I will say that because from now on, unless my co-host gets to show up, at that point, then I might go to. You know, we have one coming up in Washington next year. So
how far are you from DC?
4 hours.
So it's way closer than Pittsburgh.
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean that's right there in the DMV area.
I lived in Fredericksburg for about 2 years, and I could be in DC within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Getting I-95.
So. Yeah, that's that DMV area. Shit, I got married in Petersburg, Virginia. That's where I got married. I shouldn't have. But anyways, I hope everybody has a great
merch time too. So y'all want merch? You can. Yeah. You know the prices. I don't know.
Get your Alphabets Football Show merch 27 for T-shirts like this. I can make them in any color. All of the people who are participated in the mock draft competition, send them to me. I didn't see people getting that many. I got 3 right, so we'll see. Maybe you had better luck than I did, but thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'll leave the notifications on and everything. I appreciate everybody with the birthday shout out. I'm just chilling today. I appreciate it. Look, I know that at this stage in my life, I have more days behind me than I do in front of me. So I'm very thankful for the people in my circle, my lovely co-hosts and family and friends and stuff that
and
show up. Yeah, and Curly Top, the beautiful baby, my little superstar T-ball player. But yeah, so y'all have a great one.
Not so much because she doesn't really care. Amara, her sister, her younger sister, I think she's probably going to be that T-ball player. Yeah. When she gets older, Cora might, but right now it's more Amara than.
Yeah.
When she's on the field, when they're on the field together, Cora aggravates her, and so they end up kind of getting in a squabble or two.
Yeah. Look, you let those kids play as many sports. Look, you may want them to play some. They might end up playing volleyball. They might end up, you just never know.
Soccer is coming up, towards the end of summer, so they may get into soccer. I think they would both like it. I really do.
Yeah. As a kid, I got put in everything, and then you just start taking a liking. I wasn't good at basketball.
With Amara, is if they accidentally kick her, she's going to kick and shove and elbow.
And that's perfect. That's perfect because that's sport. That's perfect because that's sport. Hey, you do what you got to do, So I hope everybody has a great day. I'm just going to chill out here on my birthday and relax. And again, thank you for all the shout outs. It's always nice when people think about you and take a little time of their day out to show you some recognition. I am thankful, humbly. I appreciate it. All right. Y'all have a good one. We're going to get up out of here. I will be on Midnight Madness tonight for a little bit. I'm not going to sit up here and entertain the goofiness, but I will go on there to respond out to some of Andy and this other guy. I'll go up in there and I'll address it. All right. Y'all have a good one. We'll get up with y'all later. See ya.